I still remember the night when everything changed. It wasn't loud, it wasn't chaotic, it was quiet, almost too quiet. And sometimes it's in the silence where the deepest betrayals hide. They say you never truly know a person, not until you see what they're willing to do behind your back. And I learned that truth in the hardest, most unexpected way. At first, there were no warning signs. Life seemed normal, peaceful even. We laughed together, we shared secrets, we trusted each other with everything. I thought what we had was unshakable, unbreakable. But I was wrong. Because behind the smiles, behind the promises, there was a secret. A secret that was carefully hidden, waiting like a ticking time bomb, waiting to explode in my face. And when it finally did, it didn't just hurt, it shattered me. That betrayal didn't come from a stranger. It came from someone I loved, someone I trusted more than anyone else in this world, someone who knew exactly where to strike, right where it would break me the most. But here's the thing about betrayal. It cuts deep, yes, but it also awakens something inside you, something fierce, something unstoppable. And in the end, the very person who thought they could deceive me would be the one left exposed. Because secrets don't stay buried forever, and her secret betrayal was exposed in the most unexpected way. My life before it all fell apart was ordinary in the best possible way. Days were filled with laughter, small routines, the comfort of knowing who stood beside me. Elena was my closest friend, the person I told everything to. She knew my dreams, my fears, the small details that no one else cared about. Daniel was my partner, steady, dependable, someone I thought would stand with me through anything. Together, they were the two people I trusted the most. The two pillars of my life. We spent countless evenings together, dinners that stretched into late night conversations, movie nights that ended with laughter echoing through the walls. I remember looking around at them, thinking how lucky I was. I had love, I had loyalty, I had a circle that felt safe. If someone had told me then that everything was about to collapse, I would have laughed, because betrayal seemed impossible when life felt so whole. But cracks don't show themselves all at once. They start small, hidden in plain sight. I began to notice moments that felt off. A sudden silence when I entered the room, a glance that lingered too long between them, messages that were quickly hidden when I asked about them. At first, I brushed it aside. Suspicion felt like a poison, and I didn't want to drink it. I told myself I was imagining things, that I was paranoid, but the unease grew. Daniel started coming home later than usual, his excuses rehearsed, his smile thinner than before. Elena, once so open, became distant in strange ways. She still showed up, still laughed, but her eyes flickered with something I couldn't name. Every instinct in me screamed that something was wrong, but I clung to trust like a lifeline. I didn't want to believe that the two people I trusted most could betray me. Yet the signs piled up, one after another, until the truth became impossible to ignore. And then the secret revealed itself in the most brutal way. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't fate. It was choice, their choice. I found the messages first. Late at night, when Daniel's phone buzzed on the table, curiosity tugged at me harder than fear. I picked it up, telling myself I would only look to quiet the storm in my chest, but what I saw didn't quiet anything. It ignited the fire. Words of affection, plans made in the shadows, promises whispered that were never meant for me. My hands shook as I scrolled, my heart hammering as the pieces fell into place. Every late night, every hidden smile, every uneasy silence, it was all true. Elena, my best friend, the one I trusted with everything, She had been with him, and worse, they hadn't even stopped. They were still weaving their lies, still meeting in secret while I lived in the dark. The ground beneath me broke apart that night. My chest felt hollow, like my heart had been ripped out. The betrayal wasn't just in the act, it was in every smile they had given me while lying through their teeth. I felt rage so sharp it burned, grief so heavy it drowned me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Every corner of my life felt poisoned by their lies. The memories that once brought me comfort now twisted like knives. The laughter we shared, a lie. The promises, a sham. I cried until no tears were left. I screamed into the night, though no one heard. I asked myself over and over why. Why would they do this? Why wasn't I enough? The questions had no answers, and that was the cruelest part. But in the middle of my brokenness, something else began to form. Anger turned to resolve. Pain hardened into clarity. If they thought they could hide forever, they were wrong. If they thought their betrayal would remain buried, they underestimated me. I wasn't going to stay shattered. I was going to make sure the truth came out, and when it did, it would leave them speechless. So I planned carefully, strategically. I knew revenge fueled by blind rage would only make me look small. I needed control, precision. I began gathering evidence, messages, receipts, photos, anything that told the story they wanted to bury. Piece by piece, I built a puzzle they couldn't escape from. I chose the time, the place, the witnesses. A small dinner, seemingly innocent, with friends who knew us all well. They thought it was just another gathering, another night of laughter. But for me, it was the stage where the truth would finally step into the light. The night came. I arrived with my folder of evidence, my heart steady despite the storm raging inside me. We ate, we laughed, we pretended. They had no idea what was about to unfold. And then, slowly, I shifted the conversation. Small questions at first. Where were you that night? What did you do? Their answers were smooth, practiced. But then I placed the first piece of evidence on the table, a message that contradicted their story. The room grew quiet, their smiles faltered, their eyes darted. More evidence followed, receipts, photos, timestamps. With each piece, their denials crumbled. Elena's voice shook, Daniel's silence grew heavier, and then the twist I hadn't planned. A friend who had seen them together months ago spoke up, confirming everything. The walls closed in on them. There was nowhere left to hide. I looked at them, my voice calm, my words sharp as glass. I told them exactly what they had done. How they had looked me in the eye while stabbing me in the back. Elena tried to plead, to cry, to twist the story into something less damning. Daniel finally admitted it, not out of courage, but because the truth had cornered him. The room was silent, everyone staring at them, seeing them for who they really were. Their masks were gone, their lies were ashes, and me? I stood there, no longer broken, no longer blind. I was the one holding the truth, and they were the ones exposed under its weight. In the days that followed, the fallout spread. Friends turned away from them, not because I asked, but because betrayal destroys trust in ways that cannot be repaired. Elena lost the image she had worked so hard to protect. Daniel lost respect, credibility, everything he had built. They tried to reach out to me, to apologize, to beg for forgiveness. I gave them nothing. Silence was my answer, and it was louder than any words. Justice came not through my hands, but through the truth itself. Their secret had destroyed them, and me. I began to heal. Slowly, painfully, but steadily. I rebuilt myself piece by piece, stronger than before, because betrayal doesn't define the betrayed, it defines the betrayer. And the greatest justice is not destroying them with rage, but letting their own lies destroy them while you rise above. So if you take anything from my story, let it be this: betrayal may break you, but it cannot end you. It may cut deep, but it awakens strength you never knew you had. Secrets never stay buried. Lies always come to light, and those who betray always expose themselves. Walk away with your head high. Let the truth speak louder than their lies. And never forget, every ending, no matter how painful, can become the beginning of something greater. Because in the end, betrayal isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your strength.